Hello, with you, Alina, and we have the second episode of our nail series. This is a continuation of the same girl who came after the accident after the cast. As you remember, then I managed to clean only the upper part of the color coating and remove the free edge. And over the course of time now, unfortunately, I don't remember which one because it was so many months ago and the story was very, very long ago. But in general, she came to me with such a finger. You can see that half of her nail has already grown back, absolutely healthy, but the second half of the nail is still a problem. That is, this is exactly the traumatic part that was under the scab. At first, I assessed what was available and determined what was working and what wasn't. I understood that there are remnants of old skin here, remnants of nail sores, in general, what needs to be removed. And now I'm moving on to rough cleaning with a hard alloy cutter, and I have a green cutter. In principle, you can use any material here, even a diamond, though it will take longer. So I start to file all this down and see that under the nail, specifically under the nail, there are some painful spots left that are hindering its growth. And I start to check, looking for ways to get them out of there, because I understand that we also don't have the right to just, dig them out or pull them out, because no matter how they hold on in there. Again, the goal was to do all this as non-traumatically as possible, so as not to harm anything. And if some pain still holds on and is not ready to leave our nail, then accordingly I would not remove it. That's why I proceed to the diamond cutter. I gently file down those parts that are subject to filing. I'll admit, at first I wasn't sure how to handle this. That is, moving forward in small steps, some clarity gradually came to me. Because this case was the first of its kind in my practice. It was right after the break, right into the torn, if I may say so, nail. At first glance I was scared. I wondered if I could handle this. Well, as you see, time actually heals, and if you don't touch the nail, then generally everything happens as it should. Now, as I turn my finger, you can see how thick it is there. It's from this layer that such a big pain comes, which we have to endure. And I must say, when you get such things from under the nail, some kind of relief comes. And many, by the way, write that when you treat an ingrown nail or cut out some grown nail, people write, "Oh, I felt or experienced relief." Looking at all this, and this is pure truth, imagine the pleasure I get at this moment when I realize that I have relieved a person from this. I'm not poking at it with a sharp object right now, I'm just checking, looking for which side to approach from. And so I deliberately didn't cut anything out here. Here's the whole process of how I slowly, with small steps, was looking for a way to remove all this stuff from there. I've lifted the cuticle, hoping it would get easier, but to no avail. And now I'm using the nippers again, by the way, on the cuticle, because after all, a very sharp and very precise tool is needed here. And now I'm getting closer to this very sore spot. I don't even know how to describe this whole thing, but we start to remove it from there. That is, it doesn't hold there, it just imprinted such an old sore spot that leaves craters behind. If you want, yes, there are such indentations, sores, and of course they will remain after this. But the girl is still young, her regenerative processes are going well, so everything should be fine with her. And this is not our last episode, this is just the second one. There will be a third, the final version. And for now, we continue to look at this mess, if I may say so. And here is the biggest piece that we are going to get now. I slow down a bit here because the moment is exciting. And here it is, that feeling of relief. See what a big piece we got from there, big with big. And the most important thing is that all these little pieces really interfere with the growth of the nail. I carefully get it out, and here he is. Let's take a look. He got lost now, we'll find him now. Here's such a thing that was in the way there. I apologize for the quality, the video shooting, it's old. If I may say so, it's not of the quality that I have the opportunity to shoot now. But in addition to that, I've still improved, learned. Now, of course, my videos look much more quality. Well, while I repeat this again, I do it only so that you have the opportunity to watch it from the beginning to the end. So that when you encounter such a trauma, well, God forbid, of course, to anyone, but still, if such happens, I want you not to panic and not to rush to the surgeon to cut the flesh, because all this can be solved. There was nothing so terrible there. The most important thing is that her finger has grown back, she was in a cast, and that was the end of the doctor's work. And then you can turn to a beautician. But again, I'm not advocating for such manipulations, I'm just sharing my experience. If something like this happens to you, at least you will have an idea of what to expect. And there were also, well, such things there, how to say, leftovers of something. Something was left there, something was lying around, but in any case, we definitely get everything. That's why no one falls into a swoon, everything is in order, everything is fine. By the way, it's not at all painful because I work very slowly in small pieces and I always work with the client. Even when I do the most ordinary manicure, I always care if the person is comfortable, especially if it's their first time. Yes, it's understandable that my specialty is various injuries, but nonetheless, I also perform a regular aesthetic manicure. I always ask if everything's okay, because everyone's cuticle is different and the depth of the cutter is also individual for everyone. That is, some people can't even touch it, yes, to this skin, and someone even says crawl on the elbow. I don't feel anything, I like it, I even enjoy it. I think you've also met clients who enjoy it when you dig around with a cutter under the cuticle. He says, oh, such a pleasure, so cool, I feel it, this is cleansing. In general, everyone has their own nuances in work. Well, in the meantime, we've got another piece. You see, the nail is already transforming. That is, this beaten state is leaving us and just a nail remains. And now, from another side, I even had to, you see, turn the nail over to get something there. Here's what was accumulated there. Entry is not possible from all sides. Now we are moving on to the processing. Yes, we can see that. Over there on the side I got a piece, and there, well, not exactly blood, yes, but something like that right next to the blood happened. Because apparently the smallest far piece of the sore, it was still, so to speak, attached to the skin. That is, it has not healed to the end yet, and we pulled it out, and that's how such a small drop of blood happened. We treated it right here with a hemostatic. I know that now there will be a question about what kind of hemostatic I use. I use Endosai at work, but I also know that girls use a tool that seems to be called Capramin, if I'm not mistaken, but I always only have Endosai in my salon. This is a hemostatic liquid that dentists use to clean canals while working with teeth. By the way, we have borrowed and adapted a lot from dentists. Actually, the entire nail industry in general is borrowed from dentistry. And from there, by the way, the very beginning of acrylic nails is taken. If you're interested, read the history of the origin of artificial nails. There, if I'm not mistaken, a male dentist always, and maybe a woman, by the way, won't speak. But, in general, one of the dentists, pondering on the fact that women's nails are breaking, or his wife's, drew an analogy that after all, teeth, hair and nails are, in essence, all the same. And that material with which he was treating teeth was exactly acrylic. At that time, teeth were treated with acrylic. He decided to use it on the nail and fixed her injured nail. Since then, we have such a type of service. Meanwhile, I am showing you the initial data during the cleaning process. Here's how our nail looked like, and here it is already processed. By the way, we will apply here a series of Stopa Nicolasis from Inky. You always ask what should such be applied. We use it almost every time when there's a need to grow nails strongly. That is, if there is some minor anicolysis, then in principle it grows out on its own. But here it is clearly necessary to stimulate growth. These methods are completely natural, and this is not an advertisement. I work on them, the guys don't pay me extra, but they could have. We apply several compositions that are part of this series. You can find them by searching for Inky. It's spelled just like Inky. They have a page on Instagram. You can write to them. They will be happy to consult you. I applied all the necessary ingredients and waited for it to fully absorb. We don't give such products to the client for home use. The only thing we can sell them for home care is a growth stimulator. Here is our finished result, showing before, during and after application. The nail is now off to the hospital. We will continue to watch over it, observe how it will grow with us. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the third and final series. Thank you, bye. I look forward to your feedback. Alena.